What it do, YouTube? We back with another one, man. As always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. So get ready to lock in with me today. We're about to touch down on this on these Glock 6 proposals, these Glock Gen 6 proposals, basically. Just want to talk to y'all on what I would like to see, what I would like to see from Glock for Generation 6, because as y'all know, they're discontinuing pretty much all the Glocks. I guess you could say the least popular ones to the ones that some of us like. I know they keeping some of the popular, models like the Glock 19. Obviously, that's not going anywhere. But there's been a lot of speculation that they're basically getting rid of a lot of the Glock models that they're discontinuing because they're trying to make room for the future, which obviously will point to no other than Glock Generation 6. So, to be honest, I've seen a few people talking about it on what they would like to see. So I figured I'd touch base on mine, on my opinion on what I would like to see from Generation 6. As y'all know, man, I'm a big Glock guy. YouTube, we are empty, man. As you can see clearly as day, there's nothing in the chamber. So we're going to get this out the way right here. No ammunition, as you can see right here. Got both of the straps. This one's even in pieces, so as you can see, there's nothing in there. YouTube, I don't promote the sales of any firearms. I have nothing for sale on my channel, man. Yep, got to get that disclaimer out of there real quick. I don't want to get striked for any reason that I don't need to be striked for. So yes, YouTube, we have nothing for sale. We will not be talking about any type of prices in this video for that matter. So yeah, man, like I was saying, I'm not really, I'm a big Glock guy, man. I'm not really a person that asks for too much. I know a lot of people complain about Glock. For me, it works. But I just kind of wanted to give a quick video on if I was to want any changes, what I would like to see. And yes, I have a Gen 4 because, as y'all know, my 19X is pretty much gone, the whole top end for now. So I'm going to kind of be using both of these firearms to kind of touch base on what I would like to see. So for one, because I don't have my Gen 5 frame, obviously I know the Gen 5s, they went away with this boxy finish and kind of chamfered the sides. They bezeled the sides basically with the rounded edges. So if you look at a Gen 5 barrel and a Gen 4, you will notice that the Gen 5s are more rounded. So for me, it's more appealing. But I don't know, man, it's something about, this is my first Gen 4, but there is something about this boxy model, this boxy slide that I like. I don't know what it is. I know that's why people mostly refer to Glocks as a block. But I prefer it though, but I'm just saying, if I would want to see from Gen 6, is for them to keep it rounded. Keep the edges rounded like the Gen 5s. Like, kind of don't go away with that. Not a big fan of the finger grooves. That's the one thing I'm not really the biggest fan of when it comes to the Gen 4s and the Gen 3s. I know they went away with that with the Gen 5s, so I would prefer to see the return of no finger grooves. I got the goon tape on here, so it kind of like helps out with the finger grooves, whereas I don't really feel them as much. So I'm not really going to say too much there. I would like to see that though, with them just kind of keep it with the like I said, the non-finger grooves. I would rather keep that away as is, continue doing away with that, and just keep it like this with just the even finish on the grip. Because for me, I just like it better. It just fits my hand better without the finger grooves. But not saying the finger grooves is a major problem, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just easier like that. Another thing I would like to see, man, from Gen 6 will be the trigger. I don't mind the Glock trigger, the original stock trigger, which you see here. I just prefer the Gen 5, not the Gen 5, I prefer the Glock Performance trigger better as far as like the trigger shoe. And this is an OEM trigger, so this is something that, yeah, it doesn't come from the factory, but Glock does make this, so this is technically not an aftermarket trigger. So I would prefer for them to start shipping out the Glocks with the performance trigger. I just like that it has a more crisp break and an easier reset. I know most people probably going to disagree with me, but I feel like the safety is still there. You still have that nice safety lever. The trigger pretty much is a little bit more pushed up. As you can see, the shoe is a little fatter than pretty much the stock trigger, the one that comes on the Glock originally. But yeah, that's something I would like to see. That would be a plus in my book, me personally, is doing away with the original trigger and start shipping the Glocks with the performance trigger. I know some people were complaining. Even me, I had issues with mine at first, but I've heard since then I've tweaked out the issues on mine by just shooting it. It really was just like primer strikes. So I feel like, yeah, I'm sure by now if they do ship them out with Generation 6 Glocks, that they're gonna have this thing even more tweaked out to where it'll pass the test on whatever issues people were having. Mine was solely a light primer strike, so that was more like an ammo thing. But some people were saying that the reset was getting hung up. They were getting hung up on the resets with their performance trigger, but that was the earlier version. So like I said, by now it's a lot better. So I would definitely prefer to see that. Another thing I will prefer, as y'all know, like I said in the beginning of the video, I don't have my slide, so I can't show y'all. But the 19X does come with the night sights. As y'all can see here, I got the suppressor sights with the fiber optic front. I would like to see Glock kind of change their sights, because I'm not the biggest fan of the plastic sights. I don't mind them, but most of the time that's like the main thing I change on my Glocks is the sights on them. So my 19X is actually getting built up right now, the slide, and I am going to be changing the sights on it. But even the sights that come on this, the metal OEM Glock sights, I would prefer to see Glock shipping their Glock Generation 6 models with the night sight standard, or at least something like this, you know, the option to do suppressor high sights if you wanted to do that. But I feel like they would do away with just the plastic sights, and they would ship them out with the OEM Glock steel sights that come on the 19X. I feel like that'll be a super game changer, because I know a lot of people complain about that. So being able to have the generation, the 19X night sights, the OEM night sights, shipping with all Generation 6 Glock models, I feel like they will kill the game with that, man. Yeah, it might not be a super major upgrade or update to the Glocks, but I feel like that's something that a lot of people complain about, and it would just show that they're definitely listening to what people are saying. So yeah, man, definitely upgraded sights for Generation 6, man. If y'all agree with me, let me know in the comments. Another thing I would like to see, it will be the slide release, slide lever, whatever y'all call it. This thing's got like a million different names: slide stop, slide release, whatever. Either way is good with me. I would like to see Generation 6 with a slightly extended Glock slide. Nothing too crazy, just slightly extended, because I feel like sometimes it's a little hard to hit the slide stop on this. Like sometimes you could miss it, because it's just like, for me, it's kind of like short. So sometimes I just go right over it and like I'll miss it. It doesn't always happen, but it's something that I definitely would like to see. As y'all can see, I got some wear and tear on this one, but obviously because she's seen some rounds in her days. But yeah, I would definitely like to see an extended slide lever on Generation 6 models, man. I feel like even if it's just slightly, it doesn't have to be competition style where it's super wide, because I actually had the extended slide release from Glock Store on my Glock 20, and I actually was getting hung up with that one. Like every time I would shoot, it would lock back on me because it was too extended. So I'm not saying to overextend it, just a slight bit of add-on. I feel like, me personally, this is just me, would just help out a little bit, but it's not a super need. I feel like the first few reasons I gave y'all was more of my opinion, my preferences that'll make me want the Generation 6, but whether they do that or not, it's still gonna be fine with me. But I would like to see that. That's something I definitely would like to see. Not gonna say too much about the mag release. I feel like the mag release on Glocks are definitely stable for me, and they're easy to hit, and they're just very tactile. You can hear that as soon as you click it. I feel like you can't go wrong with that. So I'm not gonna say anything about them changing it, because to me it already feels extended. I super hate the Gen 3s mag releases. I do not like them, and I had the Dagger, which is a clone of the Gen 3s, and I had a hard time with that. I actually had to get the extended mag release for that one. But on a standard Glock Generation 4 or 5, I don't mind it. Generation 3, I do not like the mag release, but Gen 4 and Gen 5 is great. I feel like I said, it's super tactile. You could just press it firmly, it's right there, and it just comes right out, man. Like the push of a button, it's just super like steady, and it's just quick. Like it operates fast, and it's just smooth for me. So I wouldn't say anything about that. As y'all can see, I got the Magpul Magwell on here. I would like to see Glock from the factory ship out the Generation 6s with like more of a flared magwell. It doesn't have to be extended like this one, but straight out of the factory, I would like to see a smoother opening, just to be able to help out with those speed reloads, which is the reason why I actually went with this one, because it just helps out. Nothing crazy, no competition big magwell. I'm not asking for that, because as y'all can see on this one, it has a super thin profile, and it's super easy to get them reloads in there. When you got to swap a mag out when you're at the range and shooting and stuff like that, man, it's super easy. So I don't really worry too much about that, but I just definitely would like to see a super thin profile, like slightly rounded edges, just for smoother reloads. I'm not saying to send it out with an actual mag well, just extend it maybe just a slight bit. Just as you can see this one, just kind of smooth it out a little bit, kind of like how they got it right here with this extended lip on the 19X. I would like to kind of see them do that all the way around. It would just kind of help with just speed reloads and stuff like that. Again, not a major change, but once again, it'll definitely help out. I love the beaver tails, so I would definitely like for them to come back with the beaver tails. Me personally, I wish that they can come with the chopped beaver tails from the factory instead of having to modify them yourself, because I feel like the full beaver tail is just excessive, especially on a full size like this. You already could get a full grip even without the beaver tail fully cut, fully like the full beaver tail on here, not cut like how I did mine. You know what I mean? Because I only need it for up here. That's really what makes all the difference when you can get a higher grip on the Glock. So I definitely wish to see that, but I know that's not going to happen. So I'm okay with cutting mine from the factory and just, putting the tape over it to kind of help with my preference. Because like I said, everybody's preference is different. So you guys might not agree with everything that I want to see different from Generation 6. You guys might have your own differences, which is why I said, if y'all want to make a video and y'all want to kind of piggyback off mine or, any other videos out there that's basically saying that they want to see their own changes in Glock Gen 6s, then I'm cool with that, because that's why I'm doing it. Everybody has their own preference on how they like their guns and what they do and what they don't like about Glocks, and the things that they wish that they could change. So with Generation 6, it's a whole new platform. More than likely, they're probably going to keep most of the stuff the same. So I could see that, they might not change everything that we asked for, but it doesn't hurt to make videos and talk about things that you might want to see different in Generation 6 Glocks. Another thing I'm going to say for Gen 6 is I will hope for more deep serrations. Obviously, this doesn't have the front serrations, but the Generation 5s have the front serrations minus the 19X. But other than that, the later Generation 5s that came out have the front and rear serrations, which I love because I like to press check from the front. I don't mind press checking from the back, but me personally, I feel like the front is just easier for me. But I definitely would like to see deeper serrations front and rear for Generation 6 models, because I feel like it'll just be easier to get, a grip on to the serrations so that you could do your press checks, or, when you got to throw one in there, rack one up, it'll just be a little easier. I had the Echelon, and that's probably one of the main things I liked about my Echelon was the serrations. The serrations were super deep, and they gave you like this little tail in the back where you were able to rack. If you wanted to grip onto it, was like kind of extended, like protruding. So that was cool. I liked the fact that they did that. I would like to see that from Glock. Now, I don't really care too much about the protruding tail, but definitely deeper serrations front and rear, and kind of extend them a little higher at least, just because it'll just make it that much easier. Like you see, I just slipped my finger there. That's the only thing I can say I really don't like about Gen 4s that I do like about Gen 5s. But if I could improve off the Gen 5s, like see improvement, for me, it would just be deeper cut serrations and just slightly extend it. Now, once again, that's something for me that'll be a major game changer. Was that the trigger and the sights? I feel like that's an all-in-one package right there. Glock don't got to do too much, man. I mean, they're rated the winners in the game. I know y'all all like to deny it, man, but this is the leader in the industry of firearms, even if they don't look the prettiest. But they only need to do slight changes. It doesn't need much. Even the stuff I'm telling you, if they don't improve on none of that, when them Gen 6s drop, man, I will be getting one. Depending on which models they come out with, I don't know yet, because I already had a bunch of different Glock 19s. Not saying that I wouldn't get another one, but at the same time, I will have to see which models come back in Generation 6, and then that'll be my, that'll be the time where I will make my decision. But I'm just saying that these are just preferences that I will prefer to see in Gen 6 that'll make me even want to buy it even more when it comes out, But like I said, man, it's not too much more that they did wrong with the Glocks. The grip angle's fine. I think the last and final thing that I'm going to piggyback off of, that I'm going to touch base on, is the Glock grip, the texture. I don't mind the grip angle because I'm already used to it. But I would say when it comes to the frame, I would like to see a better grip texture and a double undercut. If you heard a Glock knuckle, then you know what I'm talking about. But a double undercut does help, man. And the only reason why I know that is because, once again, going back to my Echelon, I know that's not what this video is about. My Echelon came with the double undercut, and it wasn't nothing crazy, just a slight little undercut, just like what you see here, kind of like a up and down, and that little pattern kind of just helped out with being able to grip on the gun and shoot it more without getting that knuckle bruise that you always get, which I'm referring to as the Glock knuckle. And I feel like, yes, that little custom, whatever you want to call it, that little add-on that they do from the factory, I wish Glock would do that as well. Send these out with the double undercuts instead of having to send your frame out or doing it yourself at home, because I feel like that little add-on makes all the world of a difference when you actually shoot the gun. Yeah, y'all, but real quick, like I was saying, I would like to see the double undercut and just slightly better grip texture, which is the reason why I like to use the goon tape, because when you get sweaty, when your palms get sweaty and you're shooting with this grip texture, it does not help. Your hands are constantly slipping off. At least for me it is. Now, if you see people using grip tape, most of the time that's why. That's the reason why I run grip tape on my Glocks. And pretty much I put them on other firearms, but mostly Glocks, because I just don't really like the grip texture like that. I feel like with the goon tape, it just makes all of a difference. And it's like I said, I would like to see better grip texture slightly, nothing too rough, kind of just right in the middle, and a double undercut. Because like I said, y'all, until you shoot a gun with a double undercut, you're not going to really understand me. You're going to look at it like, what is that little add-on going to do? It's just a little extra cut on the trigger guard. But that little double undercut on the trigger guard, man, if you shoot the Echelon, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. It just helps, it gives you a comfortable shooting experience. And I know a lot of y'all going to get in the comments and call me a sissy, whatever. Look, man, I shoot all types of different calibers. I don't really care about that. It's just sometimes a little bit of comfort in your shooting just adds to more time to shoot, less wear and tear on your hands, you know what I mean? So if you shot Glocks long enough, I mean, I haven't been shooting Glocks for, 20, 30 years. I ain't trying to sound like a boomer now, but, I've been shooting long enough that I know that after you shooting Glocks for a while, you will get the Glock knuckle. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you understand why I'm talking about them adding a double undercut will be a necessity instead of having to send out your frame or, like I said, do a DIY job. But other than that, man, that's the last thing I really would ask for out of Glock. Everything else for me is pretty much good. It works, and that's the most important thing. They can add all these features just like all these other gun companies are doing. And at the end of the day, if the gun doesn't run, it doesn't even matter. Price it at $1,000, whatever you want to do. If the gun doesn't run, man, that gun is not worth anything. You're going to spend $1,000 and send it right down the drain. Because when you take it to the range and they lock up on you, you're going to be upset and wondering why you just spent $1,000 and threw it down the drain, literally. So you could have just went and got a Glock for $500-600 cheaper, and you would have been better off, So like I said, whether they make these changes or not, I know there's going to be changes in the Glock 6, the Gen 6s, whether it be subtle or not, only time will tell. But like I said, I just thought I'd give my thoughts on what I would like to see from Generation 6. So until then, only time will tell, man. But if y'all got any other, options, any other opinions that y'all think Generation 6 should include, then let me know in the comments, man. Drop a comment, let me know what y'all think, or make a video about it, man. Let me know what you would like to see in the Gen 6 Glocks. You know what I mean? Is there anything else that I might have missed out that y'all want to add in or input on? Just let me know in the comments, man. Like I said, throw a video up, I'll respond, and, we'll take it from there. But otherwise, man, I'm going to catch you on the next one, because I know I made this video a lot longer than what I thought. But otherwise, man, y'all be safe out there.